The American Indian statistical line of deprivation remains constant, a straight line. With the blatant genocide of our traditional people, we have less than 50,000 in America today. We are averaging a loss of 1,000 a year since 1900. We are losing a value system as distinct people that sets us apart from the industrialized world. These facts surface in our tribal statistics, and no one attempts to do anything about it except for a few social workers and reservation police. This new statistical horror is women and child abuse. Child sexual abuse is epidemic on Indian reservations, and all you hear are whispers. This abuse can be directly attributable to the schools on the reservations. Education in the BIA, public, the contract, and missionary schools do not teach positive values from non-Indian culture, and in collusion with the BIA, certainly do not allow Indian culture and values to be taught. The fact is, educators continually denigrate American Indian traditional lifestyle as primitive, dirty, and without any redeemable virtues. And the tribal councils condone it. Needless to say, every time the U.S. government has interfered with American Indian lifestyles, it has been proven to be disastrous.
Shawnee Indians, along with many other eastern tribes, were moved to present-day Kansas in the 1820s and 1830s. Upon relinquishing their lands in the east, Shawnees received a large tract of land, about 1.6 million acres, west of Missouri, in an area sometimes called the Great American Desert. In July 1830, Chief Fish, leader of the Missouri Shawnees, requested a missionary through their Indian agent, George Vachon. A missionary society was formed in September 1830. Reverend Thomas Johnson, Methodist minister, was appointed missionary to the Shawnees, and his brother William, missionary to the Kansas tribe. The Reverend Thomas Johnson was born in Shenandoah Valley in Virginia and later moved to Missouri. He married Sarah Davis at Clarksville, Missouri in 1830, and at that same year he arrived with his new bride in present-day Turner, Wyandotte County, Kansas. Johnson proposed to the Missionary Society that a central school be built to serve many tribes. A site was chosen where a branch of the Santa Fe Trail passed through the Shawnee lands. Building began, and the school opened at the present-day Johnson County location in October 1839. Indian children of many tribes were sent to this school to learn basic academics, manual arts, and agriculture. Some of the tribes represented were the Kaw, or Kanza, Munsee, Delaware, Ottawa, Chippewa, Otay, Osage, Cherokee, Peoria, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Wee, Grovant, Omaha, and Wyandotte. At the height of its activity, the mission was an establishment of more than 2,000 acres with 16 buildings, including the 3 large brick structures, which still stand, and an enrollment of nearly 200 Indian boys and girls from the ages of 5 to 23. Classes were held 6 hours each day except Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, teaching was limited to 3 hours. The boys worked in the shop or on the farm, usually for 5 hours a day. The girls helped with the sewing, washing, and cooking. The students, as a rule, went to bed at 8 p.m. and rose at 4 a.m. In 1854, Kansas Territory was established. Andrew Reeder, newly appointed territorial governor, had his offices at the mission. Following their adjournment for the first territorial capital, now part of Fort Riley, the first territorial legislation met at the mission. It was during this legislative session that the so-called bogus laws were passed in an attempt to perpetuate slavery in Kansas. The manual training portion of the school ceased in 1854. In 1856, Reverend Thomas Johnson turned the school over to his oldest son, Alexander, who ran the mission until it closed in 1862. Thomas Johnson was murdered at his home in Missouri on January 2, 1865. The murderers were believed to have been Southern sympathizers who apparently were angered when Johnson, a pro-slavery man for many years, had sworn an oath of allegiance to the Union at the start of the Civil War. Johnson is buried at the Shawnee Methodist Missionary Cemetery, 3 blocks east of Mission Road on Shawnee Mission Parkway, along with several members of his family. After several months of legal battles, the mission property was deeded to the Johnson family and was owned by various individuals until the state of Kansas acquired it in 1927. Since that time, it has been administered by the Kansas Historical Society and today operates as Shawnee Indian Mission State Historic Site.